The biggest one is that on 12/26 of 2013, I had a stroke while I was at work. The most important thing, building relationships, not just, no one wants to be sold. Everyone wants to buy something, right? So make it a relationship.
There was something that kept you fighting, right? There was something that deep down inside of you said, I'm not done yet. Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is L.A. Williams, Vice President with Dealer Synergy and also known as the Blind Phone Master. They call me one of the co-creators of the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. And man, I'm telling you today, we're going to have a good old time. Why? Because I got somebody on here who is going to literally, y'all think I take away excuses? This gentleman literally takes away excuses. See, one of the things I find is that sometimes people have these quote unquote bad days, or they got challenging days, or they're not happy about something and blah, 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 right? And, sometimes when people are positive about life, I know people, I get this all the time, right? People are like, LA, you're so positive and blah, blah, blah. And then also at the same time, they think I'm soft. And I'm like, are you crazy? First of all, I'm from North Philly, right? And so the North Philly don't bore, you don't come up in North Philly and just be like soft. That ain't how it go down, right? Secondarily, in order to be happy a majority of the time, you gotta be tough. Because you know how easy it is to be negative? Like, people are so weak that they just let any old thing drag them down. Like, come on now. It takes such a level of focus and such a high level of energy to stay positive. Man, listen, I don't think a human being can do it for a 24-hour standpoint. It's literally impossible, right? So, because obviously we're part of nature, and so we flowers bloom, flowers die, right? The sun comes up, the sun goes down. So we're going to have our ups and down moments, but you just got to ask yourself, do you experience more ups or you experience more downs, right? Because listen, you could have 4 great days in a week and be winning in life, right? So that's the kind of conversations that I'm getting ready to be having with this gentleman who is, he got sight, he can see, but there's some other challenges he's been facing. So I'm not going to tell his story for him. I'm going to let him come in. He's a salesperson right now at Fort Wayne Toyota Lexus. And I'm telling y'all, he's not a stranger to making money. He's not a stranger to getting things done. That's what he does, right? And so when we come back from break, I really want to introduce to you all, to some, actually, I'm going to reintroduce to you others, because some of y'all actually know who he is because you see him in the Millionaire Car Salesman group. You see him posting his numbers, getting the job done, right? When I come back, I'm going to be having my main man, Mr. Michael Smith, on the line. We'll be right back, y'all. This is the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast.
If you're looking for the absolute best automotive sales training from the #1 millionaire car salesman in the world, Cody Carter, who sold 1,408 units in 2023 and made $1.2 million in personal income, make sure you sign up for Cody's 24/7 video on-demand training, tracking, and testing certification program, Sell Like Cody. That's right, Sell Like Cody is on Bradley On Demand. Cody covers absolutely everything in his successful selling process. If you want to learn how to sell more cars, more often, and more profitably, enroll now at bradleyondemand.com or contact Dealer Synergy today.
Thank you for calling Doing It Wrong Motors. How can I help you?
I was looking at the tan 2023 GMC Terrain. You guys still have that?
Oh, sorry. That vehicle's been sold.
Could this be happening at your dealership? Get the Dealer Synergy team to handle calls the right way. We'll gather all the information, drop it in the CRM, set a solid appointment with notes, so all you have to do is sell. Do yourself a favor and go to dealersynergy.com for a free demo.
And no more of this burning through phone-ups nonsense.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and as promised, even though I ain't necessarily feeling the best today, I got my main man, Mr. Michael Smith, on the line. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, thanks for having me, LA. I can't wait to talk with you.
Man, I'm telling you, it's going to be phenomenal. I really want the listeners, I want the millionaire car salesman out there who listens to this podcast to experience life through your eyes, through your experiences, because in my opinion, it's going to shut down a lot of the, the stuff, right, that people whine and complain about, right? I know for me, one of the things I know is that a prophet is not a prophet in their own land, right? So people be like, they get used to me being blind and getting stuff done. LA, that's you just supposed to do that type of stuff. Sean swear I'm like Daredevil and all that kind of stuff, right? They get used to it. They get numb to it. But for your challenge, it's a whole different one, right? Can you share, folks? I know you're a salesperson at Fort Wayne Toyota. Why am I talking about that you experienced some challenges? What challenges have you experienced?
Well, the biggest one is that on 12/26 of 2013, I had a stroke while I was at work.
At work?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It was a crazy day, to say the least. Only half of which I remember.
I got you. So from what you remember, can you give us the whatever details you got, or maybe somebody else might have told you?
Sure.
I know how that could be sometimes.
Yeah. So I'd been at the store at that point 5 years, and I had a client in the business office, and as happens, things run late, right? So I had a client in the business office, and I had my next appointment show up, so I was chatting with them. And then a page came on, and this was at a time we used to be Toyota, Lexus, and Kia, and our used cars were down at the Kia store. So I got a page that I had someone came to see me at the Kia store. So I ran, I worked with both people, the people in the business office and the people who came for an appointment. I already helped them with cars in the past, so we're like all friends. And I said, look, give me a minute. Let me go down, see who it is, and tell them he'll have to come back, or I'll get him with someone. And then, so while I'm running down to the Kia building, I'm running, and my right arm just dropped. So my dad had a stroke, and I learned the signs of a stroke, and I go, oh my gosh, I think I'm having a stroke. And I just focused on getting to see where the client is. And I mean, I don't know why, to this day, I don't know why I didn't run in the building and just say, I'm having a stroke, help me. But I went and talked with him. I said, look, I remember just speaking really fast. I said, you can wait, or I'll get you with someone. I'll come back later. And he said, no, I worked with you all week. I want to buy the car, so I'll come back. And as soon as he said that, again, instead of running in the Kia building, I ran all the way back to Toyota, praying I wouldn't fall down and no one would see me on the floor between the cars. And ran through the building, ran past the cashier, and who incidentally, it was her first day. And so it kind of freaked her out because I ran past her. I said, call the paramedics, I'm having a stroke. And I ran into the bathroom just to get out of the way of business. And that's all I remember for about a week.
That is crazy. That's a crazy story. And then, of course, it got to be on her first day, right? And what other way? Welcome to the automotive industry,
Right.
That's kind of crazy. All right, man. So listen, so you all know why it's going to be important to listen to this gentleman, right? So real quick, I want to kind of tell. So right now, today, you're selling cars. Could you give us how many cars did you sell in, let's say, January, February? What's your numbers looking like this year, 2026?
Not having such a great year, but usually it's somewhere between 12 and 15.
Okay. Yeah. Still 50% more than the average car salesman. We know the average car salesman selling 9.6, right? So you're still doing 50 to 60% more than what they're doing. And you're, like you said, a stroke victim. So pretty cool stuff, man. That's exciting. So, all right. So you're still rocking it, still doing the doggone thing, not making no excuses.
No.
But obviously, and your story is really powerful, man. It's, but every great story has a beginning. So I want you to kind of take us back. Where did your story start? What even got you into the automotive industry? How'd you even get started in this doggone thing? Tell us about what life was like because you came up in Jersey, right?
Yeah, well, that's where I did my high school years. So like Sean, I'm from Queens, New York. I lived there until 3 weeks after 10th grade, and then we escaped New York, and went to Jersey, and Cherry Hill, New Jersey, where I guess he began his career.
Yep,
and
that's where I'm at.
And then I thought I was getting away from my parents a little far enough to be away, close enough to go back. So I was going to go to University of Maryland, but little did I know my dad wound up meeting someone who went into business in Baltimore. And so I went to Maryland, grad school in Michigan, met my wife, and we thought we were young and hip, so we moved to Brooklyn for a few years.
I like that. Okay, cool. So how'd you end up getting pulled in the automotive industry?
Oh.
How'd that happen?
So I was actually practiced law for years, and it was time to go into some new opportunity, just something where I want to help people. And
Okay.
a good friend of mine worked for the Roman Auto Group for a long while, and he introduced me to the guys at Fort Wayne Toyota. I met them, and I have a friend from where I live in Wabash who drove a Toyota, and she told me she actually came all the 50 miles to do her service at our store. And
Oh, wow.
she said Toyota took good care of her, my store took good care of her, and that was what's important to me. And wanted to change the opinion of the auto business one client at a time,
Absolutely, man. So I love that. So you went from New York to Fort Wayne. I'm assuming Indiana, right?
Right.
That's
Well,
see, man,
so my
the
wife.
industry will pull you in all kind of directions. Go ahead, break it down.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So she's from Wabash, Indiana originally, but she wasn't ready to move from New York and go to a small town. So we lived in Indy for a few years and worked our way back to Wabash and to Fort Wayne.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So how long were you in the industry when this stroke thing happened in 2013? When did you start?
Well, about 5.5 years.
Yeah. Okay. So you had already had a track record of success, right? So what did the numbers look like? Did they look different, like before and after? Kind of break that down to us.
They were a little higher. I was more about 15 to 18 then.
Okay.
I mean, I had a few 20 car months, but I think, it's just about 15 to 18. Sometimes it seems I spend too much time taking care of people, maybe not enough time selling cars, but
closing. Yeah, right.
But just taking care of people. To me, that's what it's about, right? Helping people with their transportation problems.
100%. That's what we're all here for, to solve problems. As a great salesperson, that's a part of the system, right? Is to solve problems. If you can't solve problems, then what are you doing? You're not a great salesperson. It is what it is, right? So what type of salesperson would you say you were? Were you like hungry? Were you competitive? Would you say you were still figuring it out? Just kind of break that down.
Well, I think I was on more of a trajectory where not transactional. I believe that you got to do it like as a relationship. So I was building relationships, and so of course hungry. I mean, you can't not be hungry and succeed. So I just tried to.
Well, people think you can. I just want you to know. People think they just, I'm just going to do this little bit, and then all of a sudden they're going to have all. Now, of course, not our listeners, but I mean, there are people who think that, right? So we want to make sure we address that. You got to talk about your hunger and the reason why you were so hungry. Can you break that down?
Well, the reason why is because I have a wife and 3 kids, and I knew people in this business. My dad was one of those people that didn't like car salespeople, but I knew that they were good, and I knew that my friend Rick Melendez that introduced me to the company, he was is a super guy and devoted to taking care of people. So that got me to thinking that maybe you can do it in this business too. So
got you.
I'm trying to help people.
I like that, man. So you coming from an industry where you're helping people, like dealing with the law, right? That's a big deal. But usually people associate that with high income, right? Usually people say doctors, lawyers. They don't really say car salesmen like that. But could you kind of break that down to us? What did the income look like when you were in law versus when you were doing like your 20 car months and all that different kind of stuff? Break that down to us.
So pretty similar, 20 cars, 15 cars, depending on exactly how the deal went. You can do those and make the same money that you're making in law.
Yeah, Absolutely. And so most times, again, that's the reason why I'm saying this stuff is because people who are new to the business, they don't know that, I mean, we make pretty good income just helping people. And I think what would you say? Which one beats it? Which one is more fun? I don't know. I think I love the automotive industry, so I might be a little biased, right?
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed law. The car business is great as long as you're doing it the right way and not making it a grind on yourself. It's not like this is a hard job in that it's physically taxing necessarily.
Right.
So, it's a great industry. What my daughter played volleyball. One of her her teammates' dads works the line at Chrysler,
Hmm.
and he is working super hard, and punching the clock, and you got to be there. Just do your job, and things will be good in the car business.
Yeah.
That's what
Absolutely.
that's me.
Yeah, and I think that and see, I think in law, the thing I think about is all of the paperwork, right? You got to do all this paperwork, right? It's not all the glitz and glam stuff that you see on the what was I watching recently? Legally Blonde, and I don't know some of those those movies and things like that. It's not always all the fun stuff. So when you look at like the lessons that you learned, maybe from law, from your early years in the automotive industry, could you talk about some of the lessons that stuck with you the most that helped you to be successful?
Well, I think it's compassionate, and you have to be patient, help people, listen to them, listen to what they're trying to accomplish, and
Hmm.
I mean, law. You have clients who need some help, and just like in cars, I mean, it's different product, but the same end result of um, fixing a need, right?
Yeah.
So in the automotive business, you have to listen to your client. Why is that car they're driving not the right one anymore? What do they need? I want to make sure I wasn't one of those type of people that says, just put in this car because it made me the most money. I
Hmm.
did things that, you know, cost me, I wouldn't say cost me money, but, I can make more money on one car, but this car, let's say, is the better car for the person, you know?
Absolutely.
And if the
Yeah.
client thinks you're taking care of them, they'll call you again and refer you to people.
Man, you telling the truth right now. So what I hear you saying is you take them through a client's needs analysis, right? You
Right.
really do kind of like care about what they got going on, right? And you really land them on the right car because we know that in most people, the reason that they don't buy cars is because they're landed on the wrong car, right? So, I mean, I'm telling you, I can see why you're successful. Here's the thing. You've talked about the importance of caring and listening, right? And so I see, even like who you are as a person, all that good stuff. I mean, we've been connected for a little while. Why are those two things really, really powerful in sales? Caring and listening. Talk to us specifically about those.
Well, it's a business of people, right? The business of
Hmm.
our business is people. So if you're not being if you're not being caring, if you're not being authentic, people catch on that, and it's a bad experience for them. It definitely makes this job no fun, and then
Hmm.
becomes a grind. So this is what I thought, and I think I stole it from some restaurant, like where strangers become friends, friends become family. This is how I treat it. Is that
Mm.
my clients are my friends. They come to get hugs, and they're happy to be there. And actually, I have some clients that are here for service right now, and sitting talking about their trip, and keep building a relationship with them. Not,
Yeah.
there's too many people work in this business that it's a transaction, so they just don't sell the car. They don't even remember the people the next day or follow up or any of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. The mark of a non-good salesperson, right? That's exactly what that is. People who don't build relationships. We all know this is a relationship business. I like how you broke that down, right? Strangers become friends and friends become family, right? And family is everything. Because how in the world are we supposed to be able to do all of
Totally.
the stuff that we want to do without a family, right? So anyway, so what I want to do is I want to take a quick little break, right? I want to let our sponsors get a word or two in, right? And when I come back, I kind of want to just talk about that turning point, right? Because you talked about, the moment that things kind of changed for you, and I want you to talk about. I want to kind of get into that comeback, right? Because every setback is a setup for a comeback. All that, because we heard all those 50 million things. So when we come back from break, I wanted to talk about that, y'all. We are here on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. We'll be right back.
This has been the most in-depth training I've had in my lot of years in the car business.
We went from 60 cars to 156 cars a month in 3 months.
NAMAD, the entire Toyota Chicago region, as well as the top automotive groups like Coons, Lithia, and Norm Reeves have all used Bradley On Demand to train their team.
They're the most comprehensive training company I've seen, and they by far have the best support system.
Doing 50 cars a month, topped out at 80. I can tell you that the Bradley On Demand training will get you to the next level.
And guess what? The world's #1 car salesman, Cody Carter, shares his exclusive strategies right here. You want his secrets? You gotta have Bradley On Demand. If you're still not enrolled in Bradley On Demand, you're missing out on the best virtual automotive training in the world. Enroll now or contact us for a free test drive of the platform today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and I'm still here with my main man, Mike Smith. And we're talking about what happened in his life and business, right? My man came from law. He started selling cars and everything like that, rolling in the industry, doing his thing, selling 15, 18, even 20 car months. 2013, he's got all the stuff that we, like a lot of us have going on, 2 customers in 2 different buildings. He's running back and forth. And then he just kind of lets the lady know on her first day, hey, call the paramedics, I'm having a stroke, right? And so that happens, right? So if you think about it, that's a pivotal moment, and things change, right? Because I'm sure there had to be some thought processes when you came to, you said that was the last thing that you kind of really remember. And first of all, the simple fact that you had the wherewithal to run into the bathroom to make sure that, that it wasn't disrupting business and all that different. I'm telling you, that's up the heart of a person who cares about the business. So I think that's phenomenal, right? But walk us through what it was like right after that, and like what was that season of your life like? How long did it take you to maybe get back?
Well, so I went to the hospital. I was in, I don't know, I guess ICU or the general regular hospital part. And then they moved me to the rehabilitation hospital for 4 weeks.
Okay.
And I did really well. And so my best friend here is a doctor, and had told my family that they were saying I was either going to die or never be able to do anything again. And no one told me that for about 3 or 4 years, because they didn't want me to live down to people's expectations.
Absolutely.
So they just always treated me like I'm going to get better. And so I did well, and I didn't have to transition to a nursing home. So after 5 weeks, I just went directly home and got in home care for a number of months. So I was home about 8 months, I guess. And
okay.
then I thought I can go back to work. I was feeling better, and I had taken calls while I was out. People still calling me thinking I was working. And I on YouTube, there's a DJ named Brian Red, and who had a stroke, and he made videos of how he recovered, showed how he started driving. So I said, same thing. I just took the car one day and I said, if you don't think I'm safe, then I'll not drive. And I surprised my daughter at her 4-H showing her pigs, and I just kept working hard, and no one treated me like I couldn't do it. So I just
And see, environment is everything, right? So many times, I'll meet other blind people or people that have any kind of a disability, and it's the environment they have around them that says, hey, will this person turn out to be something? Because I mean, sometimes we got something deep down inside us that's just plain old rebellious, right? I know I'm that way. I'm defiant, right? I'm not going to be defined by my limitation, right? I'm going to defy the limitation. I'm going to acknowledge that it exists, but I ain't going to let it control me, right? It's not going to get to have the final say. And so that type of stuff happens. But man, I'm telling you, a big part of that is the environment. What are the people around you saying? Are there people around you who are babying you like, oh my gosh, is everything okay? Because it totally changes how you view yourself and how you view the world, right? A good thing for me, my parents were young and didn't listen to the older folks who were trying to tell them to do stuff. They more so listened to me, right? So I thought that was kind of cool. But I like how you were using, like you said, YouTube videos. You were using other people who have been through what you're currently going through, because again, people feel like very alone when they have challenges, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're like, hey, listen, no, somebody exists. So I want you to kind of talk to me, like, what was really going through your mind? What made you think of that? Like, is that something that came from before? I want you to kind of talk about even some of the fears, right? Some of the questions, because we already know that a stroke, it doesn't just affect the body, it challenges identity. So could you kind of just talk about what those things that were going through your mind are?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it can go either two ways, right? Either you have a positive mindset and you feel like you overcome it, or you can say, woe is me, and be negative and just give up. Well, I'm never the type to give up. So, YouTube was there, so I started watching videos and seeing that people can do things. And you know what, Ellie, you're blind. I can see everything going on. So there's so many people. Well, I mean, this is what I thought is there's so many people who have stuff happen to them, and that appear far worse, and they do amazing things. People with no legs or no arms, and I only have one arm I can really use, and the other one's not come back yet. But I just feel like you can do anything that you put your mind to.
Absolutely. If anything, it gives you a little bit of an advantage, right? Because people see your situation and see that it's not stopping you and holding you back. And so they admire that and they appreciate that, right? And they're like, oh, hey, listen, if he can do it, I ain't got no excuses, right? I'm telling you. So it can be a lot of fun, man. So, but as you were going through that, right, I'm sure there were some mental hurdles, some things that you had to kind of jump over. Could you break down to the folks, like, what was your number one mental hurdle, the hardest thing that you had to overcome?
Well, learning to be a lefty, that was kind of a challenge.
Okay.
And not, I have to use a cane because on the walk I have a cane, so I can't really carry stuff. And just to be able to do things and maybe slow myself down and realize I can't do everything I did before, but I can still do a lot. And so, I after the stroke, I have such an I wish I had the appreciation for the human body that I have now from before the stroke, and maybe I would have made different choices and taken care of myself, right? Because like your hand, just say your hand is so amazing how it moves, and so trying to overcome all the dexterity things and just my drive to just keep going on and doing well, it overtakes any negative that there is. I mean, I don't know if that
absolutely.
answers the question, but
Yeah, no, you absolutely answered the question. See, because most people won't talk about that kind of stuff. All of a sudden, you have to start using your other hand. All of a sudden, you're put in a position to have to do things that you ain't never done before. It's like, I'm dealing with that challenge plus the inherent challenge, right? So, and then you got the mental side of it. Like, I'm sure, I don't know, you could tell me, did it affect your confidence at all? Did it maybe affect like your sense of who you were as a man? You see what I'm saying? As a professional, like as a provider, these different things. Like, because you realize most people crumble under adversity. That's like the thing. They just, as soon as something happened, they just go down, right? And we can't allow that to happen. So could you talk about, if that affected your confidence, could you talk about, what you had to do and how you got through it?
Well, I'm blessed in that, like I guess it's my cognitive abilities. They may be a little slow, but I didn't lose them. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I guess the biggest thing for me is I was a talker, right? And something that happened from my stroke is I'm much quieter, more reserved than I was before. I mean, I don't think I lost confidence. I just lost maybe um, a little outgoingness because I might not speak as well. Like for
Yeah.
example, it was a long time before I took the phone up because I mean, everyone else says my speech is good, but of course, we're always our own hardest critics, right?
Right.
So I
Exactly.
hate my speech. I have a lisp now, but I don't mind it as much because it reminds me of my dad because he had one. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't take phone ups much because I didn't like my speech, and I had a couple people ask me if I was drunk when I answered the phone at work.
Yeah.
So but you just got to get past that, and I read to myself some books out loud to myself, and I feel a lot more confident in it. So I guess my confidence in my public speaking was not much. That's why, I was happy that I was built a clientele of repeat referrals because they know me, so I can be a little looser, right? A little
Mm-hmm.
not worried about it. But so
Absolutely.
I guess thinking about it, I was losing some confidence, and I didn't talk to people I didn't know. But I think I'm mostly over that now. And people, one of the things I learned as a stroke from the stroke, LA, is that most people, they want to help. So they are understanding. So that I think helped a lot too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love that because I mean, I feel like you talked about the whole confidence aspect of it, but for the most part, confidence is it's trust. Or you are able to confide in yourself, right? And so, like you said, there were some things that slipped and all that, right? But there was something that kept you fighting, right? There was something that deep down inside of you said, "I'm not done yet," right? And so that's the part I really like about this thing, man. So when you think about, I love that recovery story, right? And I love that, like, we understand that the truth is the recovery stories are built in the quiet daily battles, right? And so, what did rebuilding look like day to day? Like, okay, so now the time went by. You said, hey, you know what? I'm coming back to work. Initially, you're not taking phone ups, as you said. There are some things that you did beforehand, like build a repeat and referral business, right? Because that, I'm sure that saved you in some way, shape, or form, the way that you kind of said it, right? But what were some of those small victories? Like, do you remember that first phone up, right? I like how you said, part of it reminds you of your dad and all that good stuff. But how did you know that you were just making progress? I'll say, put it like that.
Um, that's a great question. I don't know how I knew. I just did it, right? I had a family. I told you I have three kids, and I'm just not the type to just sit around. And I had the options. I could have stayed on disability and made part-time money at work, or
Mm-hmm.
I could just go full force and get back to work full time and made more than disability, which isn't much.
There you
Disability
go.
made for me, but I could have just coasted. I could have gone that route, but that's just not me. So I have like now I have a scooter at work. My company has a great program where they help people who need some assistance in many different ways. So they paid for me to get a scooter, so now I can get around. And I guess that was a big hurdle when I got back, is because I can't walk the lot.
All the people who don't walk the lot and they have the ability to do it, right? That's like, oh damn, let me go out here and walk this like right now. I don't care what time it is. You listening to the podcast, 12 in the morning, 12 at night. You should go walk the lot just because my man Mike at one moment in time didn't have the ability to do it, right? And he didn't let that stop him. He just continued to rock and roll, right? So let me ask you, having a stroke, does that change the way you think about leadership or the way you communicate, the way you connect with people? Is there anything in particular that you do differently now that you didn't do before?
Well, I think I am much more conscious of the other person and about being patient and understanding. And one of the biggest things is not in the car, and humans in nature, I guess, might make fun of people or get exasperated for some reason from people, or like the guy cuts you off on the street, when you're driving, like you don't know what his day has been like, so don't jump to conclusions and cut him off back, or just before you start talking bad about someone, get to learn their situation. So
Yeah.
I think, that's something we all need to strive for, and, not jump to the conclusion that that person's slow or that person is an idiot for cutting me off.
Right, right.
Put yourself in their shoes, and maybe, you might understand more.
Yeah. So were you thinking like that before the stroke, or is that something that kind of came after the fact? Is it because you know how like you'll watch a movie, right? And so like the character's one way. I just read this book called Restart, right? And the kid, he was like this star football player, and he's mean. And he's just he's just cocky, and just like he got these two friends. And then what happened was he fell off the roof and hit his head, and so now he got amnesia, and now he's like all kind and everything like that to people. And he's like, wait, what type of person was I? So when you kind of break that down for us, like, where would you say you were the same person or you different person? What are some of the aspects of you that changed, if at all? Because you could be the same person.
Well, I was that person who would cut someone off after they cut me off. But not at the time. But at the time of the stroke. So when I got into this business, I had read, got some CDs from a trainer, and I think his name was Bob Cohen. But
okay.
But he said something one day. I mean, essentially what I'm saying to you, he had said, and the light bulb just kind of clicked off in my head, because he said, look, you're going on a sales call and you get cut off, and now you're super pissed off and you want to cut everyone else off, and you're going to your sales call and now you blow it because you're in a bad mood. But the guy who cut you off doesn't even realize he cut you off because he just wasn't paying attention, and he's having a fantastic day. And
right.
So when I heard that, I said, well, that's right. So I stopped having road rage after that. but
that's a big one, man. That's huge.
But it still relates. Is you need to just take a minute and just try to understand the other person.
Yeah, 100%. So I love that, man. So talk about, because in order for you to get from where you were to where you are now, there had to be some habits, right, that became non-negotiable. So whether it's during recovery, different things now that you just refuse to skip because you understand the value of it, right? What are some of those things that maybe habits that you've developed in order to help you still succeed?
Wow. I think the habit that I needed most is to slow down in what I'm doing and not speed up everything.
Okay.
Just appreciate what I have and not go full force. I mean, going ahead is fine, and you should keep going full ahead, but I have to slow down so that my brain catches up sometimes. I may have like a lot of things I want to do, but I have to slow down to understand and to do what it is I'm trying to accomplish. So that's the biggest thing for me is the habit of taking a minute, contemplating, and then doing. So
yeah.
I don't know. We did this assessment, and I think I probably was a D before my stroke, but now they say I'm an S. So,
And the DISC and the disc thought process. See, now you got to break that down for folks, because everybody don't know. I teach the STAR theory, so they hear me think about structured, right, technical thinking person, action thinking person, and relationship. But now you got to break down the disc for them so they know what that is.
Wow. And I'm not expert at, but the disc is like the dominant person, the person that wants everything done this essentially. But immediately they know all the answers and they don't have time for to a real long drawn out explanation of everything.
Yeah.
So that now that's my thing with my some of my managers are these, and everything for me is an explanation. So so and I don't know a great way of saying it, but so the C is more like the D, and I and S are similar. I just want to have fun and go with the flow really, or really fat, have a party all the time. So yeah, maybe I need to. I mean, we just had that training. I need to do it again, I think.
I got you. No, this is good
I
stuff
just
because
know that
it just
my personality's changed since the stroke.
sometimes you got to just make people aware of stuff. You ain't got to give it all to them, right? If they really want to learn, then they'll go find the information. Like that's the way I look at it. Sometimes I ain't got to give it all to you exactly how it's broken down. If I can, wonderful. If I can't, oh well, go look it up, right? So I love that, man. I love that. I love how you're talking about, this adversity that you faced. It forces humility, right? And so it taught you stuff about patience. It taught you stuff about self-awareness. It taught you stuff about, appreciating the process. That's all that kind of stuff that had to happen, right? So I kind of want to kind of close this thing out, man. I want to kind of talk about, because we all know that the car business is intense, right? It's high pressure, it's high expectations, right? High competition, all that good stuff, right? So what do you think dealership professionals can learn from your journey?
Oh, I mean, it sounds like I'm just repeating, but I think the biggest thing is slow down and get to know the person you're working with, and feel compassion for people and what they might need and or going through, just understanding and well, like you said, humility too, because we're not any better than anyone else, right? Although there's plenty of people who think they are. So I joke around and say I've become really good with the geriatric crowd, right? Although that's part of me now too, because I'm 62, 63.
Right. Look at that. I wouldn't have even guessed. That's crazy.
So the stroke has changed that part of me, that I'm much more understanding and take the time to listen to people. There's not enough listening to other people that goes on, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Well, to me, this was like super duper powerful. I think for most people in the industry, right, they never get a chance to experience or be around someone like this. And so again, like you said, they're ripping and running. They're thinking life is great. They're taking life for granted. They're taking their whole situation for granted, right? And it's like, come on now, you got to sometimes take a look at other people's challenges so that you can appreciate the positive things that are happening in your life, right? Sometimes, listen, I know they say compete, don't compare, but sometimes you got to compare. So you can say, you know what, wait a minute, I got it really, really good. And so I need to count my blessings. I need to say, hey, you know what, I'm in a situation where I don't have to deal with this, that, and the third. So let me appreciate it and let me help other people at some point in time. So I like that. So talk about this, because I'm a big book reader, right? And so I know you talked about books and things like that. I know you talked about Bob Cohen. Are there any specific books that help shape your thinking now? Maybe any books that you recommend, right, to somebody serious about success in the automotive industry?
Well, I'm not sure if it's in the automotive industry, but shoot, I can't remember the name of it right now.
You can tell us what it's about. I might know it.
If you don't have to improve a ton, because if you look too big a goal and you won't reach it, it becomes daunting. But just improve every day. And what was it like? He improved like 320, 65% after a year.
The Art of Kaizen. Sean talks about it all the time.
Oh, I know. I've heard of that. But that was a pretty powerful book too, in that just incremental change every day makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool, man. So when you kind of like talk about what you love about the automotive industry, right? What do you love about it now? Like, what keeps you passionate about it, right? You said you're 62 years old. Your kids, how old are the kids now?
27, 30, and 33.
Yeah, so they grown, you know what I'm saying? They don't need, so it's no longer just the it might still be the wife, right? But it's no longer the wife and kids. What keeps you passionate about it? I know you talk about helping people and all that kind of stuff, but just break it down to us. What keeps you lit up about the automotive industry?
Being with people, it's a job that keeps you young because you're always being around other people, and frankly, some of these coworkers could be my grandchild, right? Or my kid anyway.
Yeah.
And it provides, and I wish it would have started earlier. It's such an interesting business, and like not just the sales part, but everything that goes into it, like the CRM and every aspect of it. To me, that's me. To me, it's interesting to learning how each part works, and so that keeps me going. And by the way, the other thing about my stroke that was that my daughter is an occupational therapist, so it kind of motivated her to have this amazing career too.
Hey, that's pretty cool. See, that's what I'm saying. We like pass that stuff along, man. I love it. All right, so final thing I want to kind of ask, like when people hear the name Michael Smith years from now, right? What legacy do you want to leave in the automotive industry? What do you want them to kind of remember you for?
So he was somebody who truly cared about his clients and took the time to make sure they were happy and care about family and the other people coming after the one that he sold in the car. So he sold others, but most importantly, that he cared. That that I just want to make sure that I'm leaving in a better place than it was when I started in the business, and that people know it's the most important thing, building relationships, not just, no one wants to be sold. Everyone wants to buy something, right? So make it a relationship.
Absolutely, man. Phenomenal stuff, man. I love this, man, because I think to me, your story reminds us of something powerful. Like, resilience is not optional in this business. It's required, right? And I think today's conversation proves something important. I think that obstacles don't define you. Your response to them is what really defines you, right? How do you do that, right? So for me, I mean, I'm always like, hey, it doesn't really matter what has happened to me. It's all about what I got to happen to life, right? Ain't about what happened to me, is how I'm happening. I'm the one that's like, I'm making it happen, right? And so for you, I feel like that's what you're doing as well. So that's why you and I are kind of kindred spirits on that one, man. So I tell folks all the time, you are the average of the 5 people who you spend the most time with, and you've just been spending time with a stroke victim, but still millionaire car salesman, right? Mr. Michael Smith, still doing the doggone thing, focusing on making his money, living his life, right? Not letting nothing stop him. And the blind phone master, where y'all already know what I do. I ain't gotta tell y'all about my numbers and what I get done around this joint. Like, this is what we do. We get stuff done. So I think it's your turn. You got to go out there and be a millionaire car salesman, y'all. I will talk to y'all later. Peace.
Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. If you liked it, you're gonna love Bradley On Demand. Bradley On Demand is the most advanced virtual training, tracking, testing, and certification platform. What does that mean? It's an online university. And if you like this information here, we have hundreds and hundreds of advanced videos, step by step, on how to help you sell more cars more often and more profitably. So sign up now.